And who welcome everybody. It is Monday, and I want to start off by apologizing for not having session last week. Your DM was in a great amount of pain. Nothing major, but I am much better now. Just to say the least, I was not in a place where I could have ran a session, let alone like function as a normal human being, which I am far from being a normal human being. But regardless of, it was a lot of pain, and I'm just glad to be back up to normal, whatever that looks like for me. Anyways, I want to talk about a few things before we jump into tonight's episode. First of all, if you haven't seen it, what rock are you under? The Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves trailer is out, and all I can say is Displacer Beast, Dragon, Owlbear, Gelatinous Cube, Chonky Dragon,
Mhm.
all sorts of critters going on. Druid powers looking amazing in the middle of it.
And a
It
mimic.
is a mimic. Yes, I totally forgot about the mimic. And Chris Pine with a lute. And if you haven't seen it, go check it out now. It is amazing. We'll check it out after we're done. Anyways, it's fantastic. It looks great. Even if it ends up being Garbo, I'm still gonna love it just because the fact that they did it. Now, my hopes are that it's going to be amazing because this time the directors behind it actually love D&D and play D&D. So they understand how it works. Um, so that's out now. And if you want to catch a moment where you're going to maybe get a few tears in your eyes, if you haven't seen the Wakanda Forever trailer, where it's
Mm.
every little thing's going to be all right. It's a redone version of it. I watched it and I was misty eyed by the time it was done, especially watching the queen. I cannot remember her name right now, but she gives a short speech in the midst of all of that. And man, it hits so hard, like right in the heart. And it's such a good trailer. They have a new version of the She-Hulk trailer. I know it's not D&D, but I'm a Marvel fan. I love the MCU. I don't give a crap what everybody says. Oh, that was garbage, whatever. I don't care. I'm excited to see these. The new She-Hulk trailer actually made me laugh and pay very close attention to the very end of it. And for those of you who haven't been announced, a long standing star from the Netflix series, two long standing stars from the Netflix series, are returning in an 18 run series on Disney Plus. And they hint to that at the end of the trailer. Um, Yeah, Blade is coming, and I love the actor that they have playing that role. There was a lot of hype from the San Diego Comic Con about Kevin Feige to the same, uh, stepping onto the stage, and they were all thinking he's just going to talk about what we already know. But he actually announced Phase 5 and 6, wrapping Phase 4 with Wakanda Forever. The Phase 4, 5, and 6 are now known as the multiverse era. He announced what we knew, but like more information about yeah, a lot of things, but more information about Phase 6 with regards to Fantastic Four, and it was really great. Whenever Ryan Googler and the group from Wakanda Forever stepped on the stage to do their part, they were all tears. And he said that whenever he was there last time was the announcement for Black Panther, and he remembers the late Chadwick Boseman squeezing his shoulder so hard that his arm was numb. He said, "I couldn't lift my arm," and he said now as he was watching the trailer for Wakanda Forever, tears in their eyes, all of them standing around, he said he could feel Chadwick's hand on his shoulder, and he knew it was going to be great. And like I said, the trailer was just amazing. The music hit there. You see Namor in there for the first time. and you see Riri Williams. For those of you who don't know, she is Ironheart. She is the new Iron Man, quote unquote. Um, and you see a little snippet of her. You see a little snip. You see Namor. It is a gorgeous trailer. And again, like I said, for those of you that have seen it, I got chills when she started yelling, "I am the queen of the most powerful nation in the world." And man, I was standing up on my feet watching it as a trailer. I was cannot wait to see that in the theater. So there's a lot going on. Speaking of a lot going on, Journey Through the Radiant City is out. So that is out now. You can pick that up. Also, coming up next month in August, which is nigh upon us, um, the brain will kick in a second. Spelljammer Adventures in Space is coming, the three-part series. It's 3 books. It has your adventure in it. It has your campaign guide as well as a monsters manual, quote unquote. It's specifically designed to talk about the monsters of the Spelljammer world and the things through the astral sea. Um, if you haven't checked out Journeys through the Radiant Citadel, it looks amazing. It is kind of like Candlekeep Mysteries, where it is a central hub is the Radiant Citadel, and the adventures take place out of there. And it goes all the way up to the last one, which is 14th level. And then they do have some ideas for going beyond that, so that you can check those out if you'd like to. It's a really beautiful book. It's got some really great adventures in there. I am excited to see how these unfold. Um, they do have stat blocks for some creatures in there, of course, because they have to. So go check those out. Again, on sale now at your local gaming store, or you can pick them up on D&D Beyond. Speaking of, thank you to D&D Beyond, as always, for allowing us to continue to use your tools and all of the stuff that comes with those. Um, as we heard a couple of months ago, back in May, D&D Beyond is now officially a part of Wizards of the Coast because, you know, that's the way it should be. All right. So without much further ado, uh, let's jump into tonight's episode of The Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Welcome back. Now, when last we left off, the party had met with Bavlorna, who said that she was willing to help them, but not without doing some tasks. She said that she needed her pool cleaned out, basically. Her bathing pool, the place where she likes to recline and get away from her cares and worries. So they fixed the preservation pool by going down there and unplugging the drain, which was clogged full of gelatinous cylinder. After defeating the gelatinous cylinder, the water started flowing once again. They still have a book to return, but before they return the book, which is currently in their own hands, they have one more job to do down below, and that's pick up a package. Bavlorna, who fancies herself an expert in taxidermy, had a bullywug hunter gather some materials for taxidermy. She's asked the party to go down and take care of that as well, and then return the book, upon which she's promised to help them in whatever way she can. Let's just hope the hag is good on her word. Party. You leveled up and you're standing currently in and amongst the pool as it starts to overflow. You can go down the way you came, down through the trap door over there, or you can try to find some other point of egress. However, I will leave that decision up to you.
Ooh, I, I don't think I'll be able to eat the Jello soft diet for my dentures anymore after that.
Well, first off, is everyone okay?
Yeah, so over here, fine.
I give a little thumbs up.
What about you, Willarind?
I'm good. Thank you. I know I received some healing last time, so a lot better.
Okay, kiddo. But if you need to sit down or anything or talk about it, you know where to find me. Just look down.
Therapy sessions.
I look down and you'll always be there, Fanny? Is that what you're saying to me?
Well, no, actually, sometimes I'm over there, sometimes I'm over here. You just yell for me.
Okay. Thank you, but it should be okay.
Okay. Well, that was one down, right? That's one down. Do we report in? Is it like a sergeant Bavlorna, certain captain?
Ah, geez, I don't know. I don't think we should bug her.
I'm sure she's got eyes on us. So.
True.
That's true.
Would have been nice to know about the slime.
I don't.
Do you think she knew?
I mean, don't you think?
Hmm.
Well, if she knew, she would have done with it, right?
I
Whatever,
shrugged.
whatever. We can just let her know later. Don't we need to move a box or take a box, deliver a box, take a box somewhere, steal, throw a box?
Yeah. The taxidermy stuff.
Yes. Well, remind me, we're taking, or the person has the box, and we're taking the box, or are we putting them in the box, or do we already have the box and we take the box to them, or we trade boxes?
We have to find the hunter and collect the chest of parts from him.
Hey, so we take the box.
Didn't sound like he'd necessarily be willing.
Hey, what about we trade a box?
That's a good idea.
I
So
know
you
Noodle
want to
here
try to
talks about trading things, but I don't really have much to put into a whole box that's of equal worth of, well,
Well,
animal
let's go
parts.
talk with him first and see if he wants a trade.
We might just need to mention her name.
Oh,
Oh yeah, like
I do
yeah.
believe she said if they gave us trouble to mention her name.
Oh, that's right. Didn't she say that?
I was just coming into the room. I didn't catch all of it, but that was towards when I came back in.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well. That fixes that.
Which way?
Outside? Wait, which way is outside? Where's this hunter? Could we ask?
You know that he is probably down back in the village.
Okie dokie.
I checked 3 of the doors, right?
Yes, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. There are a couple doors on that side of the room I don't think we got to.
Yeah, you guys checked the one right here, and you checked this one down here because it was frogs. You checked this one over here because it was the cabinet. I don't think you checked this one. I don't know if you can see where I'm pinging. Or this one.
Well, I left
Let me
2
double check
doors
and
if
make
you want to
sure.
look. I remember that I looked at the mannequins, but I don't think I checked the door next to them.
Okay. You want to check the door next to him?
I'll let someone else do it.
I don't see why not. Let's check them out.
I love that Jay just ran over there. Go for it, buddy.
Sorry. Said
No.
somebody.
Jay,
I was like, I'll do
Jay, no fear. Went through.
it.
All right. You checking the door?
Yeah.
Okay. It is not locked.
Give it a slow push open.
You do a slow push open. There's not much light in here, but as you look in, you can see that there are scraps of cloth and bundles of yarn that are just piled throughout the small room. It looks like this is where like garments or forgotten garments, lost things are cut into pieces of cloth, or maybe where
Okay.
she made her own clothes and she leaves these, but it's what you see at hand.
Can I give it a quick perception check, see if there's anything more to it?
Yeah. Yeah, go for it.
$15.
Okay. Carefully looking around the room, two things that stand out are some of the fabric have been sewn into 1 foot tall pincushions that are in humanoid shape. One of the pincushions is mounted on a tiny wooden rocking horse, and the other one has a pair of wooden wings.
Oh my. Hmm. Uh. Hey, guys, check this out.
Hmm?
Come here.
What you got there? What?
Arts and crafts. I'm not sure
Ooh.
what this amounts to. I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. There's a rocking chair. It's wings
Rocking
on this
horse.
guy. Rocking horse, I mean.
Okay.
Is it a big rocking
Um,
horse or like a?
Just looks normal to me.
give me a history check.
All right. 12.
Something about these is tickling your memory, but you can't quite remember what it is.
Hmm. These look so familiar. Does anybody else want to take a closer look?
Sure.
I'll peer in the door.
Take a look. All right, what are we looking at?
Right. Give me a history check.
History. Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. You're like, it looks like a rocking horse and a doll.
Hey, it's playtime. Must be a kid around here.
Like it's a weird setup.
Huh. So strange. Well, I guess we don't know what those are. Move on.
You're like, yep, no idea. Let's go. All right. Anything else you want to look at?
I
And are you
guess I'll
taking
go.
those things with you?
That's up to Jay.
Well, I'm sorry. What?
Are you taking anything in the room with you?
No. No.
I'm gonna poke my head in the last door.
All right.
Hello, coming in.
As you poke your head in the last hole, it's a flight of stairs. It runs along the outside wall of the cottage with wooden doors at the top and the bottom of it. A rickety railing hugs the edge of the staircase, which looms above the foggy lake. The steady droning sound comes from a shadowed corner above the door at the top of the stairs.
I found stairs. They go down.
I'm gonna go over.
The sound, as you look up, you see that the droning has become even more prolific and angry. You see tons of wasps that start to pour out of a nest that was attached to the outer door. The buzzing sound quickly comes sharper at you.
Back inside! And I try as skedaddle and slam the door.
Okay. I'm going to see if they. What is your armor class, Otter?
That is a 16.
You slam the door closed, but not before a few of them get some stings off on your thick hide. Pump, 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 pump.
Oh,
And you take 8 points of piercing damage as they stab you in the butt, in the legs, and the back of your head. The droning sound from them is even louder now as they are attempting to swarm the door. But they don't seem to be able to pass through the door. So they're not actually disturbing it. They just seem to be buzzing around because they were upset and disturbed.
I hold my tail and rub it because it hurts.
Oh.
There's
buddy, did they get you? Is
There-
it bees?
bees.
Not the bees.
Bees?
Not the bees.
There's a lot of wasps outside that door. We shouldn't use that one.
There are a
Yeah.
ton of middle and upper class white people outside that door.
No, they have pamphlets. Don't go through.
They want to talk to you about a timeshare. No.
Wait, why don't we just go back through the hatch where we came in?
Nothing says you can't. You
Then why
absolutely can.
they over here?
So you guys are going to go down the hatch instead of through that door. Seems a lot less dangerous that way. All right, proceeding down, you go down the circular stairs or the winding staircase until you reach the bottom again, where the lake is. Now, you don't know exactly where this person is, but you know that you can ask somewhere around. I'm going to move you all back to down. The better question is, yes, I do have you on the map. So you're down there on the stairs in the middle of the map. You know that there's more walkway from where you came across. You could try to find your way around and see what's what in what area. Where would you like to go to first? There's a skiff that's right off of here that can take you back to the island or the land.
There's no one else out there. Just
Uh,
the skiff.
yeah, just the skiff right now.
Ooh. We s-
Well, we have to get back to the village if we're going to find this person.
Well, it's the skiff. We could just kind of roll our way back, but do we remember how to get there?
Well, you know that to get here, you came straight south from the land that was to the piece of land that was just north of you.
Well, that makes it easy. Thank God.
Straight
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to make it too difficult on you yet.
Oh, Cap.
Yes.
I have dark vision now. 60 feet.
Yay!
I can
I could
see.
I can see.
Can dance.
Ta-da! Now you're good. All right, kid.
Looks
Welcome
at
to the big
sticks.
time.
I'll believe it when I see it.
My eyes are wide open.
And immediately runs into something. I mean, I can see that.
Oh, I was
Stop
talking
moving.
about the dancing, not so much the seeing.
Oh.
Time to start twerking.
Sorry, you're cutting out. You must be going through a tunnel. All
I seem to have poor reception here. How weird.
right. So, you guys want to go straight north again? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
We're
Get
looking
back.
for a frog, right?
You're looking for a bullywug, correct?
Pretty weird.
Bullywug.
Well, back to the village. That's where we saw all of them. You can ask around. You don't dare.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Do it.
Back to the court, the soggy court. All right. Did you
We
guys
could
go straight north?
always ask that scarecrow fella.
Mm.
Maybe they know.
Oh. That's a smart idea.
What do you guys
Who
want to do?
wants to do it?
Oh, we gotta get there first.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I'm
So
gonna go climb
you
into the skiff.
All right, so climbing into the skip, you remember that if you go kind of northwest, like in this area, that you'll come across the Soggy Court where you met with King Gullowump. Or King Gullop the 19th. You remember meeting with him, and he was the one that actually gave you the book and labeled you as emissaries to go speak with her. You remember that there was a bridge that you crossed. That's where you met your scarecrow friend, Clapperclaw. That's the initiative I like to see being taken. Somebody just move their token. They're like, I'm going. All right. Looking across the way, King Gullop is currently wringing his hands. You see that there is a conversation that is being held concerning how long the longest reign of any current or former ruler was. And you see King Gullop starts counting on their fingers, a look of worry washing over their face as they realize that their time might be nigh at hand. However, he spots the lot of you and says, "Oh, y'all done come back so soon? Oh, tell me she wasn't too mad, I pray. For your sake, not for mine, of course, as I surely did nothing wrong on that whole situation right there. Anyway, how is the lovely, uh, 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 Bavlorna?" Like he was trying to find another word to say. He was like, how do I say this woman? This lovely hag, this lovely Bavlorna.
I think she took it quite well.
Oh, that's a relief. Thought I was gonna find myself strung up. I mean, well, that's really good to hear. So, then y'all done gave her back the book, and everything is right as rain, yeah?
Yes, we did, and I mean, she was quite furious at you, but we talked her down. We were quite, well, generous at us, making sure nothing happened to you and your people.
Give me a deception check.
Boop.
He says, "Whew, thank you, child. I don't know what I would have done. That one, she'd have come unglued and been all over me. Thank you so much. I would have been bumping my butt to hop away as quickly as I could. I would have forsaken my throne and my duties here as the royal leader of this here place. So I surely does appreciate what y'all got going on now. So, now, with our business concluded, is there anything else that we can do for you?"
We're seeking a hunter.
A hunter? What sort of hunter y'all looking for?
One who has a delivery for Bavlorna.
Well, most folk who aren't here in the court, they around the corner over there, in their huts and such. Y'all take your skiff straight on across this here pond, this here lake, and you'll see there's a place right over yonder way. Y'all can dock and follow the walking path around, and there you are. You'll find it post haste.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's take a look for this hunter. Yes, they have to be really good at taxidermy.
Well, and as an emissary of this here court, we fully expect you all to represent yourselves in a manner with which is appropriate. You understand? And if they are needing a good word, you just tell them that the good King Gullop the 19th, he's the one what done sent y'all. Does that sound like a fine idea to me?
Yeah, well, I see nothing wrong.
That is a fine attitude to have in these here trying times as they may be. So, y'all run along, and we will see y'all again anon. Yeah? All right, take care then. Bye, Shell.
Hey, Toodles.
Toodles to you, doodles as well.
And
He
which
has a
direction did he
suspicious eye
point?
on. He pointed way back over here in this direction to the southeast. I will continue to ping.
I see.
Yes, Otter has found it. Aim for Otter and don't miss.
Oh, oh,
Okay.
What you got in there?
You
Otter's
can
cooking.
try.
Pink.
Pinging.
Yay.
There we go.
Do, 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 do.
Yep. We're all just. I've got the bleeps and creeps in the Jeep, sir. The what? I've lost the bleeps and creeps in the Jeep, sir. The what?
Sir, we've been jammed.
Raspberry. Only one man knows that I hate raspberry. Lone Star. To this day, and people will argue with me, I'm sure, that is still one of the best parodies that I've ever seen.
Mhm.
No, I got that at a
Argue with
Cracker
me.
Jacks box or a cereal box.
The power has been within you the whole time. It says here you're a prince. Just the best show. All right. As you approach the area, looking around carefully, you can see that the trail runs ahead of you. You see some what appears to be mushrooms in the distance, as well as a very large tree. Looking at the tree, you can see that several holes dot the trunk of the gnarled old tree. It grows on the shore of the lake there. All of its bark is gone, and a few withered leaves cling to the ends of its twisted, knotted branches. One end of the clothesline is tied to the high branch on the northwest side of the tree. Several old garments hang from the clothesline, the other end of which disappears into the fog hovering over the lake.
Is someone living here? Is it clothing?
Hello? Is anybody home?
Does it matter to you, Four Eyes?
Ah! Hi. My name's Jay. These are my friends.
You hear one of them. You hear from inside the tree.
Hi, my name is Jay, and you're my friend.
Guys, I don't think this is going well.
Is
Yes, I think it's going well.
Where's that noise coming from?
I think
From
it's going
inside that thing you
very
call a
well.
hair.
Oh,
What? What did it say? Is it talking to me? Honey, I can't hear you if you're talking to me. Was that to me? What'd you say?
Is that your mom, Four Eyes? Cause she looks like she could be your mom.
I mean, I could be your mom.
Oh, well,
yeah.
we got at least deaf and dumb right.
And it's 4 distinct voices that you hear.
I think we're being bullied.
I like him.
But those 2 sets of glasses you got, it's a wonder you can even try to hit me. I bet you couldn't hit a broadside of a barn, or the barn side of a broad.
By the voice, can I kind of guesstimate where that particular one came from?
Give me a perception check.
+3 is a total of 19. 16 plus 3.
Seems to be coming from somewhere inside, like either a hollow of the branch or somewhere inside this branch here. Actually, it's inside the trunk. Excuse me. It
Well
seems
done.
to be from inside the trunk.
Okay. Gonna kind of look up at Willerin. Is it rude to take him up on that offer?
Well, if he's. Well, if the offer's laid, well. I don't see why not.
I'm gonna use a key point to Step of the Wind to where I hear that voice.
So you're like running up the side of the tree?
Yes.
Because it came from like up in the tree itself.
Mm-hmm.
Probably about 30 feet up.
I'm gonna try and do
Okay.
some monk shit.
Some dope monk shit. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead and with you have martial arts, like the movement at this point in time, or you can like run over the surfaces of things.
Not yet. I don't.
Okay. Give me a climb. Well, it'd be athletics check. Give me an athletics check.
Athletics. um. So that was a 18 on the die, so total of 16.
Oh, okay. You scramble up the side, and then you start you get to a point where you can hit a tree branch, and you scramble to the first one. I want you to go ahead and roll an acrobatics check for me, please.
I can do those. That's a 9 plus 5 for 14.
Okay, you hit the first limb. You twist your lithe little body in the air as you bounce from that limb onto the next one. Go ahead and give me another acrobatics check, please.
Even better. 14 plus 5.
Okay,
19.
as you hit that one and you bound to the next limb, you hear the voices go, "It's like a flying fat squirrel!" And then you land on the branch, and he goes, "Hello!" And you see a little sprite who's barely peeking out of the hole in the tree. He immediately reaches down and comes up with a pair of twigs that are twisted into like eye shapes, and he holds them up and he's like, "You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you?"
I'd offer you a drink.
You're not you're not gonna punch us?
I mean, I could, but that seems counterproductive.
Why don't you try punching the tree? Yeah, hit some wood. You hear another voice. You see from another hole a little pixie pops his head out, or sprite pops his head out, taunts you for a second, and disappears back into the hole again.
Hmm. So no to alcohol. And I kind of slosh the gourd in my hand.
Mm-hmm. They. What about your other friends? How about the tall one? Hey, you, tall and lanky. What are you doing down there? You couldn't hit this tree if you tried. You couldn't hit this tree if you fell out of the sky and landed in it. You couldn't hit this tree. Oh, what's that sloshing sound? Hello.
Well, you see, I don't recommend antagonizing the tall ones.
And you watch as one of the sprites turns, drops Trow and Moon's sticks.
Well,
Feast your eyes
ha,
on that one, laddie.
Oh, it's like a little cherry.
I'm gonna try and pull some glasses, like some small cups out of my bag, and pour a little bit of alcohol into them, and just kind of sit on the branch. If you'd like to chat for a second, you can have some. Otherwise, I'm not gonna give you any.
Good boy. Um,
You wouldn't refuse a gift, would you?
well, and you see as the sprites start to like come out. That's true. You shouldn't refuse a gift. It's part of the rules. And another one pops out. That's very true. You shouldn't refuse a gift. It is part of the gifts. That's right. Never refuse a gift. And you see they all four of them start to like drift towards you. And you see they produce their own little cups.
And I give them all a little bit of what's in the gourd.
Yeah, it's like a little dribble.
Yeah.
It's a little dribble of each one. And they take it and they, oh boy. One of them's like, that's some good stuff. The other one's like, anyways, they all drink and it seems to affect them all a little differently.
Well, now that that's out of the way, maybe in the spirit of reciprocity, you can help me out. I'm looking for somebody.
Is it somebody who did that to that one's face? And points to Willerin.
I'm looking for a hunter.
You need a breath mint. I
Well,
mean, they're
that
still being
is.
jackasses, but they're
Oh yeah,
just now
that's fine.
drunk jackasses.
That's fine.
Ah, jeez. These guys are just mean. Aren't you supposed to give something back for a gift? Isn't that one of the
Giving you
rules
something
around
back.
here?
I'm giving you a hard time.
That's not what I meant.
I think we're more like, give us a break. Okay. There's no help.
We need directions.
All right. Where to?
We're looking for someone.
It's a hunter bullywug.
Oh, clearly none of you are going to play along with this, so fine. Follow the trail. You'll see a bunch of huts. They're usually in there. Oh, the other three just kind of whine, and you finally see they disappear into their holes. One of them has his arms like his elbows. He's leaning on his hands. His elbows in the hollow of this tree. Just go. You guys are no fun.
It's just like I tell my kids. If you just don't give in to a bully, they get bored.
Whatever. And he watches another one just rolls on his back, his head hanging out, like looking up at the sky, just kind of bored. And they indicate this direction, following the walkway.
Do you only bother people from your tree?
I mean, technically, it's not our tree. Technically, the tree is itself. We just try to get people to wake him up because it's fun.
What if he's already awake with all that chatter you guys are throwing out? Let him sleep then out loud. And if you're bored, pick up a crossword puzzle or get a job.
Yeah.
Okay, boomer.
Generations that know anything. Oh gosh. Call him boomer. I love it.
All right. Excuse me. So, where to?
I'm gonna lightly bonk the one who said to hit them on the head with my staff and then try and shuffle down the tree.
Okay. You can easily get back down.
There's the tall ones, like a beacon. Villain, there's nothing wrong with your face. You're gorgeous, honey. You hear that?
I wasn't sure if they were talking about was it too much sparkles? Do I have too much sparkles on my face? Is that what it is?
I'm not sure if it's sparkles. Maybe he's like, maybe they're not used to.
I
a
think
nice,
it's the
moisture skin
sparkles.
tone.
It's 'cause
I
I'm
think they
purple?
were just trying to get a rise out of us.
Sure did get a rise from me. If I wanted to speak to an asshole, I'd just fart. Lord.
Oh,
That just caught me so fucking off guard.
We're gonna have to start a Fanny killed cat counter at this point.
Yep. I need you to get that in the next overlay.
oh no.
I'm dead.
A kill count for cat. A cat kill count.
Cat.
Cat kill count.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost count at this point in time. Is anybody else keeping up with that? Just if I wanted to hear an asshole talk, I would fart.
I think it's around like five or six right now,
It's so fantastic.
No.
which is impressive for 7 episodes.
At least one an episode. Oh my god. I'd like to say I don't break easy, but I feel like that's not necessarily the truth.
And then Cap
Uh,
met Fanny.
and then I got in a game with Given.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
We call that.
All right. To the other side of you, over on the left-hand side, as you're looking out your window, your heart suddenly feels cold, filling you with a sense of loneliness that borders on despair. A haunting, melancholy tune played on a flute reaches out to you from somewhere within a field of oversized toadstools.
Now, these toadstools are oversized.
Big ass mushrooms.
I just want to bounce on them. She's so cute. Why am I
And
so
continuing
sad?
on the path.
Yeah.
Do we see anyone around the mushrooms, or is it just the
You
oversized
don't
mushrooms?
with the oversized mushrooms, you don't hear it offhand. Or you don't see anyone offhand, but you could follow the music to see what you can find.
Oh, Noodle's absolutely following the music.
All right.
Ooh, doodle
As you
doodle
follow
doo.
the music, following the music into the oversized mushroom field, you see a slender elf with pale blue skin and black hair. He sits curled in the shadows of a gray, 6 foot tall toadstool, playing a somber tune on a double flute.
Hmm.
He looks up as you approach. Oh, hello. Did my music disturb you? Sorry.
No, you were playing quite well. I wanted to listen.
Oh, and here I've gone and stopped. I'm sure that I've ruined everything for you.
Not
I
at all.
apologize. Well, my name is Octavian Maliamne. I came seeking magic that would make me forget all of my lost loves. Struck a deal with that hag, and he glances his eyes up towards where the cottage would be. But when it came time for me to pay, I refused. I didn't want to give Bavlorna what she wanted. I felt as though it literally is a part of me. I couldn't be done with it. It's part of what makes me me. She wanted my heart. I told her no, but true to the hag, she took what she wanted by force. She gave me, and he touches where his heart would be over his chest, switching out my beating heart for that of a goat's heart. And now I cannot die. Also, I seem to be unable to feel or really show any sort of emotion. Congratulations. I've forgotten all about what love is.
My whole brain just went, "What is love?"
Same.
Baby, don't hurt me.
Me, I went, I
Uh,
want to know what love is. with bear.
He's not actually sad. He just seems to be like,
Just void of emotion.
Yep.
Yep. Well, making deals and breaking deals with hags are very serious business. You could have died.
That's very true. I could have. I Yep. I want to be angry, I think, but I'm just nonplussed. I'm just here, playing my music.
Hmm.
I suspect that she keeps it as a trophy. Oh, look, I stole an elf's heart and gave him a goat heart. Congratulations. I want to be angry, but who has the energy or the care? I can't be bothered.
Having no emotion and you're missing out and, well, having joy and anger and love and fear. They're
Mm.
very wonderful things to feel. Wonderful and terrible, but good for the soul. See? That's.
You're like rubbing it in, Fanny.
Oh, sorry. I'm just saying that there should be something done.
If you say so.
Right. Well, we happen to be doing an errand for her, which means that we're able to get pretty close to where she is. Returning back there, I'm not sure if we saw anything with a beating heart. Kind of look around to the others. Have you seen something of a heart? Is it beating or dead? Oh, did she eat it? Oh,
You guys did not see a beating heart or anything else.
what about a dead heart?
Hmm.
No. Does it have to look like a human heart, or was it like like a heart, like when you draw a heart?
You don't know.
Well, we won't keep you from your music. If we
Okay.
can find anything out to help, we will do what we can.
I would be appreciative. I know I don't seem like it would be, but I would be. Thank you. Anything else that I can do to try to help you?
Um, unless you know about a bullywug hunter, I think we're okay.
Okay. Oh, good luck then. And may something come of your day. Or something. However the saying goes. And he goes
Alright.
back to just plucking or playing on his pipe.
Jay looks a little bewildered. And I thought my life was depressing.
Hey, that's awful.
And he starts playing Bring Me Back to Life by Evanescence.
It's all just emo music from here on out.
Wake me up.
When September ends.
Mhm.
Or wake
Black
me up
Parade.
inside. Black
Yep.
Parade.
Just a mix mash.
Burr. I'm gonna listen for a second or two and then head back to the.
It's truly haunting sounding. But eventually you find yourself back on the path. All right. Heading down, you see another little hut. Hut.
It's in my head now.
You know what's not in your head?
Nope. Don't.
Okay.
What?
No.
I want to
It's a
know.
You
song.
know,
It's
is that-
a song made popular again most
No.
recently.
it's that thing about hills.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Right up that.
The
There are
hut
a
in
lot-
front of you has a steep thatch roof, a small wooden chest rests in the middle of the floor, and scattered around it. Oh, I'm sorry. Whoop. You see a hut with a steep thatched roof. The door is currently closed, and there doesn't seem to be any presence within it.
Do we want to knock or shall we just keep going?
Probably wouldn't hurt.
I will go up and knock on the door.
Okay. And there is no answer.
No answer, guys.
Yeah.
I suppose we keep going then?
Is it open?
Yeah.
Do you want to come check, Noodle?
I don't know that this person has been not responding to Bavlorna. Maybe they don't want to answer the door.
Hunters usually are gone from their home a long time if they're going on a we'll see. I think that's how hunting works. You make a trip out of it. It's like a camping, but with more steps.
Is there like a window or anything that's along the edges near the door?
Not that you can see.
Okay.
I am just gonna leave the door.
Okay.
It's none of my business what's inside.
Okay. So heading on then.
Maybe we can ask somebody that's a neighbor or nearby if who lives there. So yeah, let's see if we can find some folks.
All right. Heading on down, you see another hut. As you are looking at this hut, let me read to you. You can see that this door is shut, as was the last one. But Whereas the last one gave you the indication that there was no one there, this one seems to indicate something different.
Ooh. Sticks, you should knock again.
We hear muffled rap music inside. Okay, I will knock.
As you do, there is a moment, and you hear some, and then you hear some croaking sounds. You don't respond, and then you hear, push the note under the dough.
The note? I don't have any note.
One of you received a note.
Ooh. Oh, me.
Oh, I think that was me, right?
Back in the soggy court, as you guys were leaving.
Oh, that wasn't me.
Oh, I think I know who it was. And they're not here right now.
Oh,
We have a note.
Yeah.
we
And
quickly go up and just rifle through his belongings to get the note.
he's like,
Move, corporate.
aha, here it is. And he takes a moment and
That's
pushes
so
it
good.
under the door.
It's like he's here.
Yeah.
He pushes the note under the door. There's a moment, and then the door, you hear the sound of a heavy wood being slid across a catch, and then the door is opened. As you look inside, standing just inside the door is a jittery bullywug with a spear, and behind this guard is a wooden crate with hunting gear piled atop it. Huddled in the back of the hut are four more bullywugs. Tension hangs heavy in the air as one of the huddled bullywugs signals you to enter and join their conversation.
Oh. I've heard about these.
Right. Going in.
I will reluctantly go in.
All right. As you all head in, it's a small area. The leader introduces himself. My name is Illig, Baron of Muckstump. The other four are my loyalists. Glorig, one of them nods his head upwards. Grundlekrantz, this one kind of just gives you a little wave. Gulabek, this one like gives you a little head tilt downward. And Vulp. Vulp stands up and goes, hi. I'm Vulp.
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 Vulp. Vulp.
Vulp.
Oop.
You're over pronunciating the word. It's Vulp.
Don't
Voolp. Vulp.
My accent doesn't allow it. I'm sorry, honey. It's Vulp.
Vulp.
Fool.
That's right, Vulp. Anyways, hi and welcome to the revolution.
Her
If
word.
what? I mean, yes.
Right. Y'all part of the revolution now. Welcome to the revolution. And Illig says, would you please shut your ever-loving trap? Oh, sorry, boss. And Volt steps back. All right. So, you're here to help us overthrow that witless buffoon unworthy of the crown, what calls himself the king.
I I have a quick question for you, Cap.
Mhm.
Are we still in soggy court attire?
I mean, mostly, yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
So, what we have, and he shows off this drawing on the mud floor of the hut. Hang on a second. And you can see that it is a very crude drawing. He says, "So, here's my plan. It's pretty straightforward. I intend to approach Gullup the 19th while he sits on the throne," and he shows a picture of like himself drawn in like stick figure, and it shows a king, but he's got like a big nose for a bullywug and like one big eye. That there's Gullup. And then whenever I get close enough, I'm going to pretend to trip into him and then accidentally stick him in the eye with my dagger, and he holds up his knife. It's pretty cunning, don't you think?
Foolproof.
You think they'll let you get that close?
Well, I mean, right now he doesn't understand that I'm, you know, he doesn't. He's an idiot. He needs to be overthrown. A buffoon like him is not worthy of the throne. And of course he'll let me get that close. I mean, it's not like he expects it. He's an idiot.
So, what kind of like economic changes can we expect to see from you here? You know, if you take over.
Do you offer? And what's different from you that's different from Gullup? You know?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, clearly, and he kind of like points to his drawing. I am much smarter than he is to begin with.
More artistic.
Well, either way, that clearly shows a sign of intelligence. So, unless you have a better plan,
If
But
another very
Bavlorna
tongue
does not
twister.
like the king.
she doesn't like the king. Well, she will love me. Look at me. I'm intelligent. I come up with great plans. I'm a strategist. Yeah, Volp's real smart.
Do you have a plan B?
You. Well, everybody give me charisma. Persuasion or deception checks, please.
So you said persuasion or
Deception.
dirty 20.
Okay. 30-20. Otter, how'd you do?
17. I don't really know what to make of this situation. I'm just I'm sitting on the floor, slowly sipping from my gourd, just kind of watching the conversation.
Okay. Um, he kind of looks at you all for a moment. You see a little bit of suspicion, and then he kind of like looks at his plan, and then he throws his hands in the air and says, "Oh, no, you're right. This here's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Come on, Volpe. It was a really good plan. Shut up. You don't even know what a strategist is. Look, I know I know that this isn't the best plan, but this is what I got. Can you guys help me come up with something?
Hold on a second, guys. We should group huddle. Group huddle time.
Uh,
Are
in
we
here
standing at a
or,
table, or like
or
are they
outside?
sitting?
You guys go to the other side of the room. We're gonna huddle here for a moment.
Okay. And they kind of like flap their feet over to the other side of the room.
Can you turn around?
And put your fingers in your ears.
And they all follow suit. They all kind of like cover their ear holes and turn around.
Do we, Sticks and I have to bend down a little bit? Are we actually huddling?
Straight
Yep.
up, sitting down on the floor. Unless you hold all of us.
I'll just like sit down on my haunches.
I'll,
All right.
yeah.
While you guys are taking this time to come up with whatever it is you're going to formulate, we're going to take a quick break. Why don't we give ourselves 10 minutes? We'll come back at 5 after the hour. And we'll be back at that time. I need to step away for a few minutes. And then, like I said, we'll be back at 10 after the hour. We'll see you all then. Sorry for the elongated break there, folks. Sometimes things happen and you just have to take a moment. So we've got you guys are all in the corner, huddled up, while your I wouldn't call them allies, but these new people that you found are huddled in the other corner, covering their ear flaps and or their ear holes or whatever frogs have, and standing there with their backs to you. What plan are you devising?
I don't like that word, ear flaps. For frogs specifically.
Um,
Why are we all huddling?
So
Because,
they don't know what we're saying.
What?
yeah, they think we know what's going on, but I have no idea what revolution.
Yeah. This is a little sketchy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know they have like a hallway of dead people heads on sticks, but I don't know about being a part of that.
Not as popular as the Hall of Presidents at Disney. It's the Bullywug Monarch on stick.
They seem to be very passionate about turning.
Is it rude to say that I don't care about their plight?
I don't
Nope.
think so.
No.
I mean,
You could say you've already done them a favor in telling them their idea was not the wisest and call it there.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. But they might come up with another terrible idea.
Another accidental assassination.
Well,
another accidental assassination. Is it accidental? I mean, if it's planned, even if it goes off the rails.
You see, the trick is there is no plan.
That's my plan.
there is no plan.
Is to never have a plan.
And what if we suggest maybe like a challenge wrestling or have them wrestle or fight each other, and whoever wins I guess.
I mean, we could just ignore these guys? We could tell the king that they're gonna plan on doing this. We could help them, but I'm not really sure what good it would do us to help them overthrow the king.
It's true.
Well,
Mm,
Hey,
I
but
mean,
I ain't no snitch, so
yeah.
snitches get stitches. That's what I've heard. And I have no stitches currently.
no stitches currently.
Then let's keep
Yes.
it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, you do see a box that has some hunting gear on the top of it in the middle of the floor.
Oh, that's our box. I think that's our box.
We
They're
could
turned around.
ask.
Let's just take it.
What if it's not
They're
our
not-
box?
Well, let's look inside. They're not looking at us.
I feel like they would notice that.
I feel like we could just ask.
I feel like
Yeah.
they would notice that. I mean, if they turn around and look, did we have a box there? I don't know. Nah.
Let's check it out.
All right. Do you wish to take the box?
Is that the box we're looking for? Can I give it a perception check?
Well, I mean, it's got hunting gear on top of it, and it's a box.
Oh. What does everyone else think?
It is a box.
Do you speak Sylvan, Jay?
Let's see. No.
Ooh,
Okay.
I do.
But oh,
Well, you do speak Sylvan. Scrawled on the box itself, on the wooden crate, is Bavlorna's name, but it's written in Sylvan.
Well, that one does have her name on it. Right there on the side.
they're all turned around. What if we just left with the box before they realize?
We would have to get all the
I-
gear off of the box, and then take the box and leave without them noticing.
Or you just take
And
everything.
yes. But also, taking things is frowned upon here.
I'm no thief.
Isn't it Bavlorna's box, though?
Mm-hmm.
She said to take it by any means necessary.
Excuse me.
I mean, they're not offering any resistance currently, so I don't see why we would need to force or steal or sneak out.
Okay.
Well, if I recall correctly, the rule for ownership is you must not steal. To take something that doesn't belong to you without the rightful owner's permission is a crime and an unforgivable breach of etiquette. We have been given permission as it does belong to her. So it would be within your rights in the rule of ownership to do so.
I mean, it's her box.
Only if everybody's game with taking it. We could ask them.
I personally would prefer to ask, but I am the minority.
I also think we should ask.
You should be aware that we're going to be taking that. We'll take that and we can give them some sort of advice or something.
Smart. Okay. Good group huddle. Should we let them know?
Should we do the hand thing? Like the. Ha!
All right, everybody in on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay,
Then you
everybody
each
take
yell
off
out your
your
own
earmuffs.
names.
Yay!
Damn, boy,
All
hand
right.
game you puppet with.
You draw their attention and they look at you. Well, what y'all done decided on?
Well,
Looks to Willow. Looks up at Sticks, just kind of like,
Sorry, was my name spoken?
yeah. They asked what we decided, and I just kind of stopped and looked up at you.
Like, wait a second.
You're the captain of the ship now.
Somehow.
And this is your ship now.
This is a reverse mutiny.
Yep.
I got distracted by a picture. I'm so sorry.
Anytime. Anytime? Mutiny backwards? No, reverse mutiny, not backwards mutiny. Okay. right. So you're asking them for the box. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Um,
Good.
aside from the revolution, we would very much like to take your box.
Oh, well, that's Bavlorna's box technically. We were gonna deliver it, but as soon as I was installed as the new king of the Soggy Court, did y'all come up with a good plan?
Are you already the king of the what?
No, I ain't the king. That's old Gullop, the 19th. I'm Illig.
So you couldn't deliver it because
No, we were planning on delivering it once I got into
oh
the office of the state, the leadership.
Um,
oh
well, we have been sent to collect the box, but we could offer an idea to help your cause in return for you giving it to us.
All right, what that is?
I mean, at least to my knowledge, in these parts, a call for duel is still upheld. That would give you your best opportunity to have a one-on-one to see who is the better.
yes, and
You want me to stick my neck out there so that he can try to lob it off with lies and slander and such as that?
or instead of fighting, it
Ooh,
could
you
be.
been licking them toadstools. You out your mind.
What about you say you're so smart? Why
Hmm.
not a battle of smarts? Hmm?
Like,
It,
what y'all got in mind?
a duel
What are
can
you good
take
at?
many forms.
Yes. What is something that you think you're good at, that you're better at than Gullop?
Oh, just about
Persuasion.
everything under the sun.
So it should be easy for you to challenge him and have witnesses. Witness how
That's
smart you are.
that's true. I got me
So
a room full of witnesses. Look, right here. We got all my friends in here. My loyalists, Gloric, Grundlecrantz, Gulabek, Volp. That's me. Ha. Shut up, Volp. I wasn't calling your name. I was just saying you was here. I am here. Look, I'm standing right over here in the corner. Volp, it's a round room. How you gonna stand in the corner? Oh, where they put all them corners in? Volp, you might be the downfall of my new regime. Thank you. Ugh, he's an idiot.
it is charming.
So, y'all is suggesting a battle of wits and smarts then?
Yep.
Well, I got lots of wits and smarts.
Mhm.
So, like challenging to answering questions or a game?
Checkers.
Mmm, I do love some checkers.
Is it the game? Or is this a snack I don't know about?
Well, look, y'all go on and take that crate back to Bavlorna. It looks like we got ourselves some more planning to do. And if all else fails while we're in the middle of this battle of wits, I'll just trip into him and accidentally stab him in the eye.
Always have a plan B, I guess. Yep.
There you go. Plan B stands for busting him in the eye with a knife. There you go, right there.
Accidentally.
Accidentally starts with an A, so we can't have it in there, but We'll say bust him in the eye accidentally with a knife. There you go. Plan B.
Good
Huh.
plan.
Aim
Yep.
lower for the throat.
Aim for the throat.
Hmm.
But if I hit him in the eye, maybe I'll have 2 daggers, one in each hand, accidentally stab him in the throat and the eye at the same time because I'm smart like that. And then he sits down with a stick and starts strategizing out a new plan. And you are free to take the crate and the crossbow and on top of it. So, along with the crate are a heavy crossbow with 6 crossbow bolts, a hunting trap, and a rolled up cape of moss.
Ooh.
The crate itself isn't terribly heavy. 2 of you can easily manage it. 1 of you can manage it, but 2 of you can easily manage it. So, you take the crate. And is there any other stops that you want to make along the way?
I'll say that I take it, but if Willorin would like to help, I will allow it.
Allow it. Oh,
Uh-huh.
I'm helping. Absolutely.
Are you?
The moment you try to pick it up, I'm assisting as best as I can. It's probably not much, but my heart's in the right place. Okay.
You're getting glitter on the box.
Now it's a pretty box. I have more glitter in my bag. I'll reapply later.
Pocket glitter.
No, it's in a
Could
little
you
container.
imagine?
No. Listen,
It's
sometimes,
in a little container.
yeah. I don't put it in my pocket unless there's a show that specifically calls for it. But then glitter gets everywhere. It's in everybody's eyes. It's all over their clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Sure,
want
sure,
some
sure.
glitter? I'm sure I have a color that matches.
You asking me?
Everyone.
No,
I'm asking
I'm
everyone.
I'm good. Thanks.
Ah, God doesn't want any glitter. Okay.
God declines your glitter.
Hmm.
All
Wilbur
right.
would like some glitter, please.
Wilbur.
Wilbur would love some glitter. Won't you, Wilbur?
Burp, burp, burp. And he sort of shifts uncomfortably on top of your head.
Pink, please.
All right.
Once we get this box to Bavlorna, then I will apply just a little sprinkle of glitter.
Just a little smidge of it. Okay. So you take the crate and head back towards the stairs, taking the stairs back up. You take the crate all the way back up to Bavlorna, unless again there's anything else that you would like to do to stop.
There's actually one thing I would like to. Fanny, I gave Fanny the book.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I feel like it's incredibly rude, but should we look at it?
Wait, I thought we handed the book away.
No.
The burn book? The Book of Shade?
No, I didn't give it to her.
Oh.
And then I asked you to hold it, which was I guess was very good when I entered the water because that slime.
That would have been bad.
But should we look at it?
Yeah, I sent you a message.
I think we should. It's like old sleepovers.
I mean, if the party doesn't want to, we don't have to. I guess curiosity.
All right, thank you.
Since she said that she knew what both myself and Jay lost, What if it's in there?
Yeah.
What's this book called again? I feel like it's probably full of people that she doesn't like.
You're gonna look through the book.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah.
I think we should.
There's a big book of a big book. What's it called? What's it called?
I am going to walk like 10 feet away
Mm-hmm.
and mind my business.
Okay.
I mean, as a group, if everyone doesn't want to, I mean, if there are some of us that don't want to, completely understand why we shouldn't. It's quite all right. We can leave it. It was, she's going to tell
Just
us.
open the book.
One should not mess with hags. It's a bad idea.
One should not mess with hags. It's not going to work out in your favor.
I mean, the other bully, he was reading it.
And now there's a revolution against him. Maybe it is karma.
Maybe
That's a
yes.
good point.
You know what? Maybe we shouldn't. Actually, now that you say it like that, no, It actually, I don't.
Just give it to me. I'll put it away so you don't get tempted. It's all right.
Yeah,
Yes, give it to the hag.
give it to the head.
I mean,
To be short, hey.
mean-
I don't believe Fanny's like. Fanny thinks she's quite nice.
Oh, thank you.
that's exactly what she wants.
And I will
Fell
die
right
on this
into her
hill.
trap.
That's
Perfect.
how
And
they
I will
lure
die on
you
this
in.
hill.
I forgot what this book was called. Call it like Burn Book, Big Book, Big Book
Bavlorna's
of
diary.
Bavlorna's Big Bad Blood Book of Big Blood, Bad Blood. Hang on a second, I'll tell you exactly what it's
big
called.
blood cells. Okay. It's
Big
inventory.
Badonkus.
Big
You're a
Still
big
good.
donkus.
Hunger
Yes.
Hunkers.
Bavlorna's.
This is just
Hunker.
getting way out of hand.
But no, Bavlo was big, but don't book with Bavlo.
Big Book of Bad Blood.
Big book of bad bitches.
Wait a minute now. I feel like we're going off the rails with regards to the naming of this book. All right.
I like the new name.
Oh, it's raining really hard. I hope the power doesn't.
Waiting for the power to cut
Oh.
out as you're saying like Bahangalo Hoogers or something. Bahangalo
know-
Hook.
Bahangalook.
The only thing that would make me laugh more is if it happened right after Fatty was like, I'm just gonna open the book. Gone. Just poof.
Yes. Yes.
All of your power cut off. That would be so wild. You're like, what happened to Fanny? She opened the book. and that's all we ever say about it. It's like, what happened to her? She opened the book. They're like, what book?
We don't talk about the
book.
incident.
We don't talk about Fanny. No, no, no.
Oh,
Once that
but
part
yes.
gets struck.
Yes, yes.
All right, so we take the crate and the book back up to the location. Going back up the spiraling stairs, back up into Bavlorna's cottage, all the way back up to where she sits. I'm not going to move your tokens, but just know that she is there. As you sit across from her. So, have you disposed of my tasks the way that I've asked you to? Oh.
Yes, we most certainly did.
Ah,
So lovely. You're a pretty one.
Oh my.
Girl, do you have my package?
Tongue kind of like slips out and she like licks her eye with it. Comes back in. Her skin is all dry and flaky.
I'll sit down the chest with the help of Willerin.
Oh, my taxidermy can start again. Ooh. What about my book? You got my book for me?
Yeah,
Not if you want to
Mm,
say it like that. God.
thank you, man.
mm.
Ooh, the
Come
taxidermy.
in. Put it in my hand.
And she reaches out this, flaky skinned hand reaching out towards you.
Come closer.
Hold on. We,
Oh,
we want to know. We want to know what you took. Before we give you the book, we want some
huh?
answers.
What did I take? I didn't take anything. I made a deal with people. Oh,
I don't exactly remember a deal. Do you, Willerin?
well, is something you lost, little one?
Lost, yes.
And then you think that I, Bavlorna, came across it? Is
You
that
might
what
have
you
found
think?
it.
The finders keepers, losers weepers.
Well, we found your book.
No, it's different. My book was absconded with, and, and you have it. It was stolen.
And
You
now you
can't,
have a working bath.
you can't play that game with me, tricksy little thing. Yeah. I bet you would be wonderful in a suit.
Jay looks over at Sticks, fear in his eyes.
Why
We
me?
Help?
we did agree to take care of the 3 tasks in return for help, and
Mhm.
it would be breaking our deal if we don't return the book or try and add stipulations now. Deals here are very concrete.
Hmm.
And usually repercussions for breaking them are not good.
Her, you see her big frog like eyes and her wide mouth opens. It just hangs open. It's like perpetually there's like a gape. Flies flit in and out of it every once in a while.
So you wanna make a deal, Bavlor? Hmm.
I don't think anybody's talking about breaking deals here.
Make a deal.
We already did.
And you haven't finished your part of the bargain, because I promised to help you in any way that I could as long as you finish all 3 tasks. And it seems to me you're one shy,
She says as she holds up a long toad like long finger, bulbous at the knuckles.
My book, please.
Okay, everyone, calm down. I
Mm.
haven't even gotten to take one step towards her. It's just one simple thing, one step at a time.
Give me my book, please.
I'm on it.
Excuse
You
me.
can have. Here, here's your book. Just as a hint of advice, make a copy.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And her skin is like cracking as she moves.
Now, you fixed my bath. You've given me my book. And you delivered my crate. What can Bavlorna do for you?
I look towards Jay now with a nod.
What we've lost. Me and Willerin. What we've lost. I think you have it.
Oh, that doesn't seem. Are you certain that it's yours? How would you even know you lost it? You seem to have gotten by fine all these years without it.
Well, I don't I don't think that's true. I've barely gotten by. I live in constant fear. Every moment. Every moment I think I'm gonna die. And you know what? I don't know, but it would be nice if you were a little more straightforward about what we've lost and how we can find it.
Yeah. All right, fine. I'm going to go sit in my bath. Come with me, and we'll discuss more about these lost things, you say. Oh, come.
And she creaks and crackles, and it sounds like snapping twigs and paper being rustled as she walks down the stairs.
Oh, a nice soak for Bavlorna. A nice soak for Bavlorna.
And she eases herself into the pool.
So, it so happens that I do have some items that have come into my possession over the course of many years. One last favor, and I will give you what you need. One condition. See, I kept my end of the bargain and I promised to help you. And now I will, on one condition. I want the picture of my sister. 8 days you have to bring me a portrait of my older sister, Scabatha.
Tabitha.
Scabatha.
All right.
Loomlurch is her home. It's a giant hollowed out tree located deep in the forest of Thither. She uses it as a lair. The portrait is shown in a large circular room in the heart of Loomlurch, alongside the portrait of my three sisters, Bavlorna, England, and Tasha. You'll need a guide to get to Thither. And there's a scarecrow down below. He knows the way. I don't remember his name, but you can't miss him. 8 days you have. Do we have a deal?
Mm. What happens if we're late?
Well then, deal is off. And mine forever to keep are those things you. I
Hmm.
tell you what, you fail to deliver the portrait within the agreed upon time, and I'll place a single curse on you and those things you possess and cherish the most. They disappear.
Oh, geez.
8 days is no time at all. You can do it.
Is thither far or
Not
thither?
far at all.
Okay,
The
as long as it's not.
scarecrow can help you.
Oh, is okay. Because if it's like 4 days to get there, and 4 days is bad. That's a little.
Do you agree to help me?
Well, for
Jay
my
kind of looks
friends.
at Willerin. What do you think?
Well, I'm not sure, but um, I don't know what I've lost. Because I've lived here my whole life, so well, it, at least we can at least find what you're missing.
Hmm. Bavlorna, is there any way you would tell us what Willerin is missing?
How do I know what this one's missing? It seems he doesn't know what he's missing himself.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah, doesn't know what he's missing himself.
And don't you have like a catalog or something?
She looks over at you, her eyes not turning her head, but just like rolling her eyes over to kind of look at you through side eyes.
I look like the kind of person that keeps an inventory log.
We do got a big book here of bad blood.
No. So, agree to my terms, and I'll let you use the balloon. What do you say?
It's up to you guys. It is. I'll help wherever I can.
Says Wilbert.
hmm. Oh, geez. Doesn't sound like we have much choice here.
Mm-hmm.
Is everybody good with accepting this?
Yes.
If we think it's our
Okay,
best path forward,
Good.
And she spits in her hand and then holds it out.
Jay reaches out, shakes her hand.
Oh, a deal has been sealed. What about the rest of you?
I do I have to shake your hand as well?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on in. Give me some of that ham. Come on.
My God.
Yeah?
I
Her tongue like slides out of her mouth as she licks her lips. She spits in her hand again.
Come on.
It's slimy and little like stringy between her fingers, and she holds her hand out for you.
Well, extremely reluctantly shake her hand.
Yeah.
So, for each of you that agrees to help her, she does the same thing, spits into her hand and shakes it. So, is there anybody who is not shaking her hand?
Um, I'll shake her hand, but it's very much a like not like a full-on handshake, you know, when you lead with your
Uh huh.
fingers and that's about as far as you're going.
Yep.
It's
Yep. You're
like
just grabbing the end of her hand.
yeah.
She just looks at you when you do it. She's like, "Yeah, listen." It's like, all
No,
right.
just
Everybody else going along?
Yeah. I warm up my hand.
Marvelous.
All right, bring it in. I spit in mine too.
All right.
Like your Moxie.
All right. As each of you do so, she guides you to where the balloon is located on this floor. Or
Remember
actually,
to
I'm sorry. It's on the.
prestidigitate. Everybody's hands clean afterward.
oh, thank God.
Please.
You descend back down to the base of the building towards where the balloons are kept. Along the way, you grab Clapperclaw. He agrees to help you, seeing as you've agreed to help get his head back, or at least try to help get his head back. As you clamber into the balloon, you pull. Fire erupts from the jet there, filling the balloon with hot air. The balloon lifts. Clapperclaw twists the basket, making it swing. As you do, it swings out, and Clapperclaw guides the balloon carefully along the way,
I am on my hands and knees.
praying to Gord. As you guys,
Jesus on his hands and knees. I'm just rubbing his back gently.
there's a bullywug by the name of Dumphrey Frogart, is your pilot. Get in the balloon, yeah? As you take off towards it, you see yourselves bursting through this fog. As the fog shifts, you can see this very whimsical looking, colorful landscape, a juxtaposition to what you saw before. Sorry, hang on one second. Do.
Oh man, I haven't gotten to fly in years.
The mists part to reveal a primeval forest. A fragrant breeze wafts between the enormous trees, sending motes of pollen dancing into the air. Patches of sunlight kiss the forest floor, and the sweet melody of bird song echoes all around. As you arrive, you set your eyes for the first time on the realm of Thither. And Dumfrey Frogart helps set the balloon down. And as you all dismount and take your first steps onto this very verdant green, oh, the verdant is green, on this very densely populated with trees landscape, that is where we're going to call it for this evening. Welcome to Thither. Congratulations,
man.
everyone. You have met into the newest area with the Prismere known as Thither, with your eyes set on the prize of obtaining a portrait from Loom Lurch, which is the housing area for the hag known as Scabatha Nightshade. I think that this has been a lot of fun, and I really appreciate everybody coming along with us for the journey. Tune in next week as we pick up with more adventures in Prismere, hither, thither, and yon. I want to thank all of my players for joining me tonight. Otheon, we can't wait to have you back, buddy. I know you had to take care of some personal stuff, so I hope all that worked out. Again, don't forget to go pick up your journey through the Radiant Citadel. Don't forget that coming soon in August, we have the Spelljammer thing. Go check out those trailers I mentioned earlier, especially the D&D Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves trailer. It's just packed full of cool stuff. Slow spells, mimics, gelatinous cubes looking things, a displacer beast, helms of power. It looks great. Speaking of power, also check out the trailer for Lord of the Rings Rings of Power. That looks really great. And I am a Tolkien fan, so I'm like jonesing for that one. So go check it out because it seems to follow a lot of people, but like it talks more about the formation of the Harefoots and the hobbits, and there's a lot of information early on about dwarves, especially with regards to like the lore behind female dwarves. Galadriel is a main character in her time before she became the queen of Mirkwood and all of that stuff. So go check it out. Oh, it's not Mirkwood, but Mirkwood's the northern part. Anyways, it's really great stuff. Go check it out. It's on Amazon. It's coming out soon, but it's really cool looking. They've got some really great stuff going into it. It's a lot more action packed than I was expecting it to be from what I see in the trailer. That being said, it could be all political stuff, but there seemed like there was a lot of delving into the Silmarillion and actually like looking at the lore and the history of Lord of the Rings and everything that Tolkien built. And so it's really exciting to see. Anyways, enough about that. Don't forget, tomorrow night we have Remnant Shadows. Jason and the crew will be back. Dear DM Jason and the crew will be back to run you through some more Star Wars. So tune into that. And then Fall Skyline Nights on Wednesday. And then we'll be back on Monday. Until then, take care of yourselves. We will see you all next time. Oh, don't forget, we're going to raid somebody, so sit tight for that. Thanks a lot, and good night, folks.
Bye.